Welcome back. This week, I want to tackle something a lot more musical. They say that it's important to imitate, assimilate, and then hopefully innovate. This is referring to the order in which we absorb other drummers' inspiration. So to do that, it's important to transcribe. Now, transcribing music can be done in a couple of ways. You can do it just by ear, where you hear something and just try to play it back from whatever you hear, which a lot of people do. I do it too. Actually, everyone does it. That's how we started learning our first beats, right? If you heard Ringo Starr and said, okay, I think I can do that, right? Or John Bonham or somebody. And the other way is to take your time and write it out, which I actually prefer these days. So I find when I write it out, first of all, my soggy old brain doesn't always remember things that I've worked out, let's say, months or weeks or years before. So it's on paper, and I can recall it and practice it again. And also, I find that by slowing music down with either some kind of software, or even these days, YouTube, you can slow it down, that you're able to hear things that may slip by at full speed. So I find that the transcriptions are more accurate. Well, this lesson I want to talk about, playing in a style that the instrument was invented for. Okay, this instrument is pretty old, over 100 years old, and it came about in this form around 1910, approximately. And the kind of music that they were playing back then does not sound like the way it does now. It was mostly what they call now jazz. And I figured that if you can understand some of the vocabulary of the early part of the 20th century and understand how those drummers thought, it will help you when you play today and enable you to give you the technique and understanding and coordination to be able to play whatever you want to play now, whatever style. So I want to talk about this one piece by a great drummer, Max Roach. And this is Cherokee on a record called A Study in Brown. So it's Max Roach and Clifford Brown. It's a cool record to pick up. Whether you're a jazz head or not, it's still pretty awesome drumming, you know. And it's pretty hard technically, too. So I'm going to just play this transcription I have of Max's, I guess it's the first, like 24 bars of his solo. Am I right? 4, 8, 16. Yeah, like the first 24 bars into his drum solo that happens 2/3 of the way through the piece. All right, so this is, I'll play it slow first, and then we'll play it faster. Okay, so that's the ins and outs of it. You can check it out and play along with it slowly. And now Max is playing, this band is Terran. I think they're playing half note at 174. So it's zippity-doo-dadding along. And let me see if I can get it at that tempo. Whoa. So the thing to remember with this is, like, he was improvising. That's crazy. I'm just kind of playing back what he played. almost like I'm playing a classical piece. But the cool thing with it is it really gives you some insight. First of all, the sticking is actually pretty fundamental, you know, very single stroke oriented. You know, it's not as, in a way, fancy as it sounds. It's just really fast. And it's really logical, like when he plays. That's really just an offshoot of. It's just orchestrated. Right? And at speed, it really has a great effect. Classic Max. The triplets are, I don't know if he worked that out or if he was just inspired, but they're really quite fascinating, you know? You know? Really great stuff. It just sort of gives you an insight as to how Max Roach sort of organized his playing. The other great thing about this is that, you know, this kind of drumming was put together at a time when there was no template. You know, current drummers are going off of what drummers played in the past. There was no book on how to play like this. They were making it up as they went by. So you could imagine those rehearsals back in the day of these great drummers trying to figure out what would sound the best in this brand new music at the time. You know, that music called bebop. You know, high speeds, real virtuosic soloing. It was a really intense time for the drum set. Anyways, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. I'm going to, over the next few weeks, bring in different transcriptions from time to time and sort of give you my take on how I think those drummers may have been thinking. All right, I'll see you next week. If you want more information on this topic, just click on the link below and it'll take you where you need to go. Thanks for watching my video. If you like what you saw, show a little love and hit subscribe.